Okay, standby studio. Here we go. It's a wrap. What on earth was all that about? A programme about plectrums and I'm using bows. I shall explain. I've got my cello here. I've always loved playing the cello. I'm not actually very good at playing it, but I do love it. And there's a lot of common ground between the plectrum and the bow. I won't carry on. But the bow, I have discovered, even though I'm not very good at doing it, I've discovered that it's about using the elbow joint, the wrist, the fingers, the whole feely business of using a bow is very holistic. It uses your whole arm. And from each of those joints, you get a lovely cushioning effect. And the idea is that you can change direction of the bow without making too much scrapage and horrible noises. That's the plan. So if you look at the way I'm pulling the bow down, pushing it back up again, my wrist is changing direction. Like I say, I'm no cellist, I'm not very good at doing it, but that's the plan, is that you're using your elbow, your wrist, your fingers, you're really feeling the tone in the bow. This really relates to using the plectrum. I'll put this cello down. It doesn't get played very often. I'm going to move on to my son's double bass. As if by magic, I'm suddenly holding the double bass. The double bass bow is much thicker, much heavier, but the principle is the same. You're using lots of different joints. That's elbow, wrist, fingers, and you're feeling the sound in your fingers. That's what a really good string player will do. They'll produce the tone by having these extra sensors in their fingers, but all the joints are moving. It's wristy, there's a bit of elbow, there's lots of relaxation, and there's a heck of a lot of stuff going on with the fingers to produce the sound. I'll get back on the guitar as if by magic. So here I am with the guitar and I'm holding a plectrum, and there is a connection. The connection is you really feel the sound that you're making in your fingers. And there's a lot of other joints involved. There are finger joints, there's a wrist joint, there's even a bit of elbow going on. Here's the bow. It's my first finger. It really tries to make a good tone. The balance between the first finger, the tip of the bow, it's all going on. I'm still trying to work it out. But for me, the plectrum came first, and the cello playing really helped. And it's not just a physical connection, there's also a historic connection. The notation for a plectrum, which will now appear magically on your screen, is the same as for a bow. The down bow, I'll show you, this is a down bow this way, and this is an up bow, is notated the same, back to the picture, as the downstroke or the upstroke on a plectrum. So there's your down, there's your up. And of course, to produce the notes on a violin or a cello, you're up and downing your way across the scales. Same with the plectrum, up and down. The purpose of that film that you saw at the beginning was to try and show you the actual connection in the movement that you make between the bowing and the plectrum, but also the different sound quality of repeated down bows or repeated downstrokes on the plectrum, and the up and down strokes. Horses for courses, they all have their place. So there's the connection. I'm going to talk about types of plectrum now, and then we'll get on to how to actually hold the plectrum, which is a very personal thing, but I can give you some guidelines. So I'll put my guitar down. Hopefully, at any moment, I have a pocket full of plectrums. Even though I'm mainly a fingerstyle player. Here we go, look. Now, just so happens I've got a nice selection of plectrums here. I use lots of different grades of plectrum because I enjoy using plectrum guitar in the studio, in the recording studio. So they all make a different sound. You've got the real skinny ones. You can see they're quite clacky and placky, and you can hear that as you strum. There's a skinny one. This is my, usually my plectrum of choice. I think that's a 0.7, no, it's a 0.6. 0.6 Jim Dunlop there, and there's a slightly heavy one, 0.73. And you can go up through the grades. This is a giant stubby, you know. The giant stubby. Dead useful. I use this one on the tenor guitar. It's just over 1 mil thick, that 1.14, I think, that Jim Dunlop. Going right up to a Manouche, a Django style plectrum. That's made out of ebony, and it's got a chamfered edge. So you get a different edge on the way down as you do on the way up. And this plectrum will shape itself to your playing as you wear it. And you can even stick it on a bootlace and hang it around your neck. Different sounds. Let's get the little skinny plectrum. This kind of skinny plectrum almost sounds like I'm playing through a compressor. It's a very even sound. And you can hear a lot of the plectrum. To my ears, I can hear the plastic of that plectrum. If I sit around a bonfire singing Neil Young songs, which I do most nights, I'll probably choose that little skinny plectrum. If I was doing something a little bit more robust, if I wanted to pick out individual notes, maybe play some melody stuff, I go for a slightly heavier one, and then you can just go up through the grades. You know, the more aggressive you're feeling, or the if you want a slightly different feel. You're feeling a bit Andy Warholish, then you can use a big fat plectrum like that. It's really up to you, but I think it's like most things in my musical life, it's good to have a lot of variety and choices, and stops you getting bored. This is my Django plectrum. It's got a lovely way of hitting the string, that, and you get a nice big fat sound. Not quite as beautiful as Django's sound, but then nobody can do that. That's the Manouche plectrum. Let's get on to how you hold the plectrum. Go back to a more ordinary looking plectrum. When I was a kid, I used to make my fingers bleed because I was forever chaffing the bits of my finger just beneath the nail because I didn't quite know how to hold the plectrum. And in the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle, you don't always realise the damage that you're doing, so you can hurt your hands. What I've developed over the years is a plectrum that sticks out a bit more, and I make my plectrum stick out here. So I'm making it stick out that bit of my finger, fairly long way, and then I bring my hand in, and I bring my hand round. So what was that curls right round like a snail, and in it goes. But I've still got quite a lot protruding. Now, for me, because I can use both my finger joint and my thumb joint, that gives me a lot of flexibility and quite a lot of expressive power, actually. You've got quite a lot of control over the tone quality if you have your plectrum tight enough not to slip. Lick your fingers if it slips around. A little lick of the fingers there. But loose enough to be able to feel the string. And then that's where the wrist and the elbow can come in as well. That's where it gets back to the bowing. So just a few things for you to think about. With your plectrum technique, maybe do a few years study on the cello, or stick to the guitar. But try not to injure your fingers, get the plectrum in the right place, have lots of plectrums to hand, put a few in the pocket of every coat you possess, and go out and have fun. See you soon.